which would leave item D6, and that is on your handout. Thomas Gettenby, CAO, Municipal Clerk from Brock. I think you've all got that, and the gist of that is that area municipalities host public meetings to receive public input on the direct election of the chair. Councillor Neal.
Move to receive for information.
Seconded by Councillor Partner. Questions or comments? Councillor Trail.
I would strongly urge my colleagues to consider perhaps endorsing this and that we hold a public meeting as per the suggestion on the issue. I think it's important that we hear back from the public on this and that this is something that we should do.
Councillor Neal.
Well, from my recollection is when the vote was held in the last municipal election, the percentage was something around, it was north of 85%. My memory...
79 here,
okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
So I'm exaggerating, but it was a
big.
You know, I think that speaks volumes for what the people of our municipality thought about that issue. I'm sure we could hear more comments in a public meeting, but from my way of thinking, that really determines the issue in terms of how we should deal with this when it comes forward. And I totally support what I think the local councillor from Ward 3 was when she was talking about encouraging people to attend the public meeting at the Region of Durham, because to me that may be where the issue is ultimately obviously going to be determined. And but you know, I don't think it's really that necessary for us to hear from our own residents. We've heard them loud and clear on that issue. Thank you. Thank
you, Councillor. Further questions or comments? Councillor Hooper.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. And it's not very often that we sometimes agree. Well, but anyways, I fully support what Councillor Trail has said, and I think we owe it to our residents to at least be able to voice their concerns in regards to this issue. And I won't be supporting. I'll be supporting. Well.
Thank you, Councillor. Further questions, Councillor Novak.
Well, thank you very much, and if I can, through the chair, to either one, actually. Perhaps Councillor Hooper can answer this one as well. You were here during the last election, and I guess what I'd hope to find out, if there was a public meeting, the residents have given us their referendum on it. So what would we be trying to do? Dissuade them? Sway them? I kind of like to know what it is that we would accomplish with this. Really, that's my question, because they've already given them the information. At least I certainly hope they know all the circumstances to the information. They voted on it at a referendum, so it's like it's happened already. So if I could hear the rationale as to what could change their information. We can't at this point, or at least I don't know how you could.
Well, I totally agree that most of a good percentage of the residents, 79 point whatever you said, were in support of it. I just think we owe it to them to be able to at least have an opportunity to discuss, you know, what's coming before us. That's all. Nothing more. I'm not trying to, no.
Councillor Wu.
Again, it just goes back to something. There's two councillors from last term of council that certainly spoke to this subject when the issue came up with the vehement opposition to the direct election of the regional chair. And, you know, what we are looking at now is certainly a referendum that did take place at the end of the election that resoundingly, and if I can call 79–80% resounding in support of the direct election, which two councillors did support. And again, it would be sending a statement, basically receiving for information, you know, receiving it for information. I think an endorsement to this would certainly send a message that we are in support of a direct election of the regional chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Anything further? I'll weigh in quickly. Councillor Trell.
I just wanted to speak in... Oh, I can't speak in closing.
It was Councillor Neal's motion to receive. So I'll recount a meeting that I had with the clerk, which was that we had to have a public meeting on this. The discussion that we had was around what we were going to achieve with that public meeting, and I agree with Councillor Neal. The decision over whether the public believes that there should be a direct election or not, I think that horse has left the barn. 79% of people, and these are people who got up and bothered to vote. We have a hard time getting people out to vote. So 79% of folks who said, I'm interested in the process, said we want a direct election. So I don't know what we achieve in having that dialogue. I suspect strongly that we're not going to change a whole lot of minds. Discussion, and I also agree this is really, it's a regional issue. So the second bit of the discussion that the clerk and I had was that the region should be doing these throughout the various municipalities as opposed to us putting them on. But again, the question is to what end? The public has spoken, I think, on it, and I believe we've listened to that. I do harbor some concern for what an elected chair looks like. And, it's a different discussion, but it's an equally important discussion. Do we need to look at the procedural bylaws at the region and concern ourselves with additional powers, fewer powers? I don't know. But I'd be somewhat concerned that an elected chair, and I have every confidence that this is going to pass, that enough of the councils are required to make it pass. But what does that position look like? We maybe want to keep an eye on that and grapple with that. So again, I think Councillor Neal is correct. I think receiving this is the right thing to do at this point. It's I think we've already heard. And with that, I will call the question. All in support? And that is carried.